What's going on, everybody? Man, it's your boy Jay in the building. We is back again with another video. Alright, so first I want to say rest in peace to Young Dolph, man. A hip-hop legend in the South, one of Memphis' very own, man. Believe it or not, he's an HBCU legend. You know, even though he never went to an HBCU, he had songs that rung off in the club, man. Like, he had at least a 6 to 7 minute set at an HBCU party. Like, he had songs, man. You know what I'm saying? So so if you was in that, if you ever went to an HBCU between 2007 and 2013, 14, and I'm talking about Prime Dolph, like, his songs rung off at parties. Like, it really did. So I just want to say rest in peace to him, man. And I just want to say my condolences to his family and everybody who loved him, man. Like, really appreciate his music, man. So, I just want to say my condolences out there, man. So, without further ado, we got some Division II playoffs on the way this weekend, man. So, we got Bowie State going up against Lenoir Rhyne, and we got West Georgia going up against Albany State. So the first game we're going to cover Lenoir Rhyne versus Bowie State. Now, Bowie State is the second seed, and they have home playoff game. They're going up against a Lenoir Rhyne team that is very balanced, and I'm talking about probably one of the most balanced teams in Division II. Got a running back and Dwayne McGee, who has over 1,500 yards rushing. Oh, he's less than 10 yards away from 1,600 yards. He actually has a 1,594 rushing yards, which is third in the nation, and he has 19 rushing touchdowns, which is fourth in the nation. So, and their team, he averages 159 yards rushing per game. So, as a team, collectively, they average 250 yards rushing a game. Meanwhile, the quarterback, Grayson Willingham, he has over 2,300 yards passing, close to 2,400 with 21 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So, as a team, they average 41 points a game, which is 9th in the nation. Like I said before, 51 rush yards per game and 242 passing yards per game. On defense, led by Amari Houston, who has 46 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Alongside of him, who plays in the secondary, he goes by the name of Eric Jackson with 50 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, an interception, 7 pass breakups, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. So with their defense gives up less than 15 points a game. They give up less than 100 yards rushes per game, and they give up a little bit, slight over 200 yards passing per game. Now, I know Lenoir Rhyne very well. They're in North Carolina. I've had a few people that play for Lenoir Rhyne. Matter of fact, I've been to a few games once or twice. So I know Lenoir Rhyne very well, and they always kept a good team. They play in the SAC conference, which is the South Atlantic Conference, where they play Carson Newman, Catawba, and Newsbury. So Lenoir Rhyne stayed with a good team. This is probably one of their better teams that they had, but they're always consistently in the playoffs. Lenoir Rhyne, they spread it out. Even though they rush for over 250 yards a game, they still spread it out, and they stay in the shotgun. So they really only use about 4 or 5 receivers on the roster. Even though their best receiver has been hurt since probably week 4 or 5. So even though the quarterback has been doing amazing, I think he has 63% completion percentage. His best his best. He's doing it without his best receiver, and his top 3 guys are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. So they'll all be back next year. And this running back, Dwayne McGee, like I said, who's third in the nation in rushing, he's only a freshman. Like, this dude he's tall. Like, he's built like a receiver. Like, he could be put out wide, and, if he was asked to, because he has that type of size. So, but yeah, this Dwayne McGee kid is freaking amazing. Now, the thing that could work in Bowie State's favor, is that Bowie State leads the nation in rushing defense. They also lead the nation in points per game. Well, no, they're 8th in the country in points per game, which I think they only give up 14 points per game, which is about the same as Lenoir Rhyne. But yeah, this could be a defensive game if Bowie State comes to play. Now, this could be a game that John Ross, that Joshua Pryor could have at least 10 to 12 tackles this game from both of them. Now, even though like the quarterback Grayson Willingham, he's not so much of a gunslinger because they run the ball heavy. Like they heavily rely on McGee, but he can still get it done through the air. So I think what Bowie State has to do is they have to take something away. I think in order for them to win, they would have to take away the Russian attack. But this team is so balanced that even if you take that away, you still have to worry about the pass. So I think, Bowie State definitely has their hands full. Like, this is probably the best running back they're going to go up against since the first week of the season, when they went up against, Savion Wilkinson. And Savion Wilkinson, to my belief, he's the best running back in the MEAC. And so so Bowie State hasn't been up against a running back like that since the first week of the season. So, but this is not going to be the first time that they go up against a high-powered offense. I remember when they went up against Sewan and they held them to 7 when there was once averaging over 40 points a game. So Bowie State can definitely hold their own against this team if they all play man-on-man football. I think, Lenoir Rhyne is going to do a lot of twin sets. When they run the ball, you got to have 2 receivers on one side, 2 tight ends on another side, and like to run the ball out of that set. They'll spread it out with 4 receivers. They'll have trips with a tight end, and they do some reverses too. So Bowie State is gonna have their work cut out for them. They are still one of the best teams in Division II, which is why they're the 2nd seed. So they are gonna have a few home games before they reach up to the semifinals. And then because Valdosta State is in that same region and they have the number 1 seed. So, and we'll get to Albany State in the next video, but Albany State is the 4th seed in that same region. So it could be a chance that Bowie State and Albany State meet in the quarterfinals if they both win their first 2 games. So, but if Albany State wins this next game, they'll have to play against Valdosta State, and we'll get to that in the next video. But yeah, Bowie State. I hope Bowie State is watching the film. Let me say that because this is not the CIAA. Like, they're dealing with a whole different animal, and Lenoir Rhyne is a pretty good team. Like, this team, they have a few shutouts of their own, so I do believe that Lenoir Rhyne is gonna come to play, but Bowie State is gonna be ready too. So, and hopefully, if they do win, Maryland ain't too far away. So hopefully, if they win the next game, I could probably take a road trip out there to Maryland, check them out or whatever. But yeah, Bowie State should hopefully be able to handle business, and we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, man, this game gonna be a good one. I believe it.